In this video, I'm going to show you the fastest way to flip the flip chip in some of the new Specialized stump jumpers. Now, I made a video showing you how to do it per the manufacturer's recommendation, but there is a faster way to do it, and once you get it down, this only takes about 10 minutes. All that you really need to do this is a 5 and a 6 millimeter Allen wrench, and I really do recommend using a torque wrench, and I'll of course give you the torque specs once we button everything back up. It is easiest to remove the rear wheel when you do this, and of course having a work stand helps with that, or you can hang the bike somewhere. To get started, we're just going to take the rear wheel out, and I'm going to lock my SRAM Eagle cage. If you have one, make sure you lock it out. Take off your SWAT box, which is super easy to do. And then I've placed a rag between the suspension linkage and the seat tube just to make sure they don't make contact with each other. Now take your 5 millimeter Allen wrench, and we're going to undo the shock eyelet bolt. And the shock is going to be in there pretty snug, so it will not fall out, but just be careful. You don't want your shock to hit the frame, but that's going to be pretty snug in there. And now take a 6 millimeter Allen wrench and undo this bolt. I'll finish it up with an Allen wrench with a rounded end because it's easier. All right, and just like the shock eyelet bolt, when you remove this bolt, the shock's still going to be in there fairly snugly. Both bolts are removed, and we can pull the shock out a little bit and flip the chip. All right, now that we have the bolts removed, we're going to take the shock out. And what you want to do is lift up on the seat stays. That brings the suspension linkage forward. Push the shock down, and then as you continue to lift up on the seat stays, just slide the shock out. And as you slide the shock out, put your thumb and finger over the flip chips so they don't fall out. Now we're just going to flip the chips around. So I'm going from the high to the low position. And you have to flip both of them around. They will not go together if you don't. Okay, and then we're going to put the shock back in the reverse way. So lift up on the seat stays. And there's a little slot, a little groove in this linkage that you'll see that the flip chips go into. And again, as you're lifting up on the seat stays so that this linkage will point down, you're just going to push the shock back in. Let it down gently so it doesn't hit the frame. And then just put the shock eyelet back in. And now we'll put the bolts back in. Okay, start with the shock eyelet bolt. So you're going to have to make sure that it's lined up. After it's lined up, just put that back in. I'm not going to torque it yet. I just want to put that in there loosely, just kind of finger tight. And now the bottom shock bolt. And that one again, you'll have to look and make sure you have the holes lined up properly. Kind of wiggle it back and forth. Get the bolt in there. Okay, again, I'm just going to do it kind of finger tight. Okay, so everything's back together. Now it's time to torque it. You want to do the top shock eyelet bolt first. This one goes to 10.2 Newton meters. So 5 millimeter Allen wrench, 10.2 Newton meters. And then using a 6 millimeter Allen wrench, you want to do the bottom bolt to 23.7 Newton meters. And again, make sure you do this one last. Put your SWAT box back on. Reinstall the wheel. Pull out the rag, and you're done. Okay, so that's the quick way of flipping the chip in the new Specialized stump jumpers. Like I said, Specialized recommends taking the entire shock assembly out, and just in case you're interested, you can go back and watch the first video that I made on doing this. I'll link that below, but this is the way I do it from now on. Questions or comments, leave those below. Thanks for watching.